farmer by the name of Lawrence Goff, and I've used this scenario multiple times. I call him an old-fashioned farmer. He still farms, he's 2 today or so. But then I had a young grower that I worked for his dad. He came back from college and he took over the farm and he said, I want you to stay on the farm, but I want you to build our phosphorus levels higher. What he learned from colleges, we weren't high enough on phosphorus. He wanted a bare minimum of 25 parts per million. So when you spread that enough years, we had some in the 60s, 80s, 90s, and some at 25, but as low as 25. The old-fashioned grower, he never applied phosphorus. He had between a 3 and a 7 all his entire, every year we soil sample for him, between a 3 and a 7. First of all, my question always was, we worked for him since 2001. So 2001, we were at 2016 or 17, and why hasn't those 3s and 7s turned to 0? I've always asked that. Why didn't the 3s and 7s ever go to 0? If what we've been taught is right, that we're going to mine our soil, why aren't we at 0? Why we weren't at 0 is because we continue to precipitate out of this, or enzymes will create availability out of this, and drop it back into this pool at all times. It refills itself. What the young guy farmed, he was a market farmer. If he could make money planting beans 10 years in a row, he'd plant beans 10 years in a row. The other grower, again, he was an old-fashioned grower. What I mean by that is he had everything in his rotation. He had peas, wheat, spring wheat, alfalfa, oats, corn, sunflowers. He put everything in his rotation on the system, okay? That guy, through our 4 years of studies, which again, this 4-year study, we weren't even looking at comparing farmers. What we were just trying to do is compare soils to learn. But at the end of the 4 years, the guy that had 3 and 7 part million in it, and number 2, 4 years for total uptake of phosphorus. The guy that had the highest phosphorus in our test ended up being last. He was chemically farmed. A chemically farmed guy typically can't get enough into the plant. You can build a soil test, but you can't get it into the plant. The reason why is because the higher you push fertility, the more you have to push carbon. They have to balance each other. If you're going to bring fertility up like this, you better bring your carbon up with it. So the higher you take fertility, the higher the carbon's got to go. You got to keep a balance in there. And it's a lot easier to balance carbon when your fertility is lower. Very hard to do if you want to be a chemical farmer. And what I think happens, and again, we work with a lot of high yield people. We're fortunate. We get to learn from a lot of people. What they typically do, and great for them, they feed their plant a lot because they're forced to, because they don't got a driving system, because the fertility is so high they can't keep up with carbon, so they got to continue to feed. Now, granted, what we have here with drip tape gives us a heck of an option because we don't have to over-fertilize, and we can constantly give that soil exactly what it needs when it needs it, which gives us a distinct advantage because it doesn't work against our carbon. So it doesn't work against us. That's the biggest beauty, I think, in the NutriDrip Metaphys system.